That is the Alexeyev going to Jersey. We went during the week of the flowers with all the parades and things, all made out of flowers. Massive decorations. That's Michael Howard. Now, Judy and him, Ivan Stepanov, John Stevens from Croydon, actually. But they both had a passionate affair. He was married, of course. He had, there's Alyosha Zolotuhin. Yes. Killed about 2010. Road accident. The lovely Judy. Yes, John Stevens, known as Ivan Stepanov, he had a limited success. He did perform in his own right at the Royal Albert Hall and got good houses, but it was short-lived. People stopped being interested in Russian music and dancing. That's Bob. He's played a dolma. These are some Morris dancers, of course. They were performing at the same venue that we did. We had probably about 10 or 14 people in the orchestra, and I think, I can't remember how many girls went. Yeah, they were very good to watch.
Real too.
But you can't hear them really. Oh, these are the Argonoffs.
The bands?
No, the Argonoffs are the dancers. That's Ruth and her husband Michael. Ruth had a stroke about 5 years ago and is now in a wheelchair, can't move at all. The orchestra, Balalaika Orchestra, Alexeyev, is behind.
So what's the orchestra called?
Alexeyev Balalaika Ensemble.
Get away from the fucking shit.
What?
Nothing.
This was a dance called Jock. But they had a big attraction because, of course, their boys did all the manly steps.
What's your dance troupe called?
Valenki.
Just Valenki?
The Valenkis, yes. Which actually means an old soft boot.
The Valenkis?
Yes. Oh, there we are.
What dance is this?
This is Russian from the Urals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't make out. Is it 6 or 8?
Very nice.
Yes, what I did was, I found a tune I liked, and then
Please.
I did the choreography.
Oh, don't stand under me, look.
8 what? They were throwing flowers into the audience. Yes, I did the choreography because I felt qualified to do so because Madame Maria Zibina, my Russian teacher, had taught me all the steps and different patterns for various regions and things. This is Anya, who was referred to as the Nightingale.
What's she singing? What type of music?
Focusing
Russian music.
on this original.
The Alexeyev only did
Well-
Russian stuff.
I love that they float along.
Yes, so it's this tune was taken from Tchaikovsky's 1812, and he had dipped into the Russian traditional music and pulled out all sorts of little tunes which he incorporated into his music. So this is all invented. It's not a traditional dance. But it's authentic in its region with the costumes and the patterns.
Did your mum make all the stuff?
My mother used to make all the costumes. When we did this at the Albert Hall, I had 14 girls, and as they came on, floating along, it was quite impressive. Sometimes the audiences used to clap when we came on.
Was it the same main outfit?
Yeah,
The soft boots?
the Valenkis.
Even at the Albert Hall?
Yes. Well, you had the boys and girl dancers.
Which was what?
They were the Argonoffs.
Oh.
And then there was the orchestra, and then there was Anya, who was the singer, the Nightingale. We had another singer called Cine. Whoops.
Where did all these people come from?
Well, London and the surrounding areas. There's Alyosha. His name actually was Alex Zolotuhin, and that's why the group of musicians were known as the Alexeyevs. The two lads from the Argonoffs. Now their dances were traditional. Whenever a Russian company came over, the Argonoffs used to go and arrange to have classes with that foreign company. They had good connections at the Russian embassy. So their dances were totally authentic. Oh, there's Anya again.
Was she doing traditional Russian folk?
She was. Oh. I like this particularly. an early version of this dance I was taught when I was 10, and I won many awards doing it. It's actually from Swan Lake, and in the Cine where the Russian dignitaries visit, there's a Spanish group and an Italian group, and anyway, there was one Russian dancer, but now I think they do it in twos, but I decided to do it in a four. The steps are traditional. The dance itself, the patterns and shapes are from the Russian Bolshoi and the Kirov. They both did it. But this little bit is usually missed out. It's very rarely heard or seen, which is odd. Yes, my mother actually did make some very beautiful costumes. I'm still in touch with Judy and Wendy, the two in the middle. Argonoffs again. David. Peter. He was from Essex. A lot of them couldn't read music. They had to learn it. There's Alyosha at the front here.
Reel 5.
Oh, this is Lesginka. I can't place it. They're we only did this about 3 or 4 times. Christina Michael, who was also a member of the Balalaika dance group in London. She still lives in Highgate. I'm in touch with her. And she got this from the Kirov Ballet. She learnt it from them. It's quite tricky to do, remembering which way to swing. Yeah, it's very difficult to keep the spacing as well. It's a pity there isn't a close-up of the dresses, because they were just a mass of pearls hung around underneath the face and from the top of the headdress. It's better seen with no musicians at the back. It doesn't look very impressive. This dance is from close to Armenia. But using the old roller skates thing, you have to walk with slightly bent knees on the balls of your feet. This is a French choir. Back to the Morris dancers. Yes, definitely Jersey.
She drinks in the wings. That was quite severe in the wings.
Oh, was it?
That must have been their drinks.
Yeah, they were a cheery bunch. Oh. There's Wendy, Judy, Sarah in the end. Still in touch with Sarah. She now plays flute. Judy is the registrar in Bromley, marries people. Wendy has just retired. She worked for the local council, organising activity classes. Christina and Michael, now known as Christina she's Russianized her name. Making herself sound Georgian. This dance was just designed to allow them to show off as individuals. So where everyone had their own little bit. Wish I could remember Christine what surname she gave herself.
Real 7.
This was a mixture of little tunes, some fast, some medium, some slow. So we were able to show off different steps.
They were just hopping about.
Well, they were doing steps. Yeah, they were doing footsteps. All this bending and forwards and backwards, they're supposed to be chatting.
Is that like a ballet or a folk thing?
It's both.
Ballet and folk.
Yes, well, in all the big ballets you get folk dances. because there's stories from
Oh, real snaps. It's in 2 parts.
okay.
What's going on here?
This is the hopak, which is traditionally the end dance at the end of a performance, where the boys do their various tricks, and there's a lot of clapping and girls twizzying and
So were these girls from dance backgrounds, or were they mainly purely amateur?
the Argonoffs had all had proper dance training. My lot they were sort of 14, 15-year-olds that had come in off the street, might have done a bit of ballet in their youth, but had never done any folk dancing before.
Was this the place in West Wickham?
Yes, we used to train at the Toc H Hall in West Wickham.
Real
Top
H.
H.
It's an old organisation. I think it's got religious leanings. This dance is the music is called Little Apple, Yablochka. So they've got green skirts. You see, you will find national dances in all the big ballets, depending on where the fairy tale came from. Coppelia is all mazurka. I mean, classical ballet, but the village scenes are of mazurkas because it's Polish. Just trying to think. We didn't often have two bass balalaikas. Usually we only had one. But because we were going to Jersey, everybody wanted to go, of course. The domras are not triangular. They're circular with a big bowl. Used for quick finger picking.
Real 9.
Alyosha Zolituin. Oh, John Stevens. Ivan Stepanov. I don't think he's singing anymore. I often wonder what happened to him. We met when I was organising a charity show for the pensioners at the Azalea Hall in Croydon Road, Beckenham. And someone told me about John, that he was a super singer, and he came and sang. The papers gave him rave reviews, and then it occurred to me, well, I could do you a favour, and I introduced him to the Alexeyev Balalaika Ensemble, and they were thrilled with his voice, so he started learning Russian songs, and it went on from there. This is the slow part of Kalinka, which came almost at the end of the show, before the Hopak, actually, and it's all Ukrainian, so they stayed in the same costumes. The Ukrainian costumes are pretty much recognizable as Russian. All the ribbons and the flowers and red boots. They were all made on a shoestring, these costumes.
In the shed.
In the shed, in the garden.
It was a big shed.
You can always tell the dancers who've done ballet because they keep turning their feet out, and in national dancing, all countries, the foot is pointing forwards, not turned out from the hip.
When you stop.
A lot of the tricks that the boys do are simply tricks. I mean, even Peter Wilson could, from standing quite still, suddenly jump up in the air with his legs split, and he'd touch each of his toes on his left leg and his right leg at the same time. Very spectacular jump, but all you needed really was good elevation. Oh, this is the final curtain call. Bob. She's now known as Christina Kashvili. Yeah, and this is the encore of the Hopak. Dun 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 dun. There's always one, isn't there? Trying to get them to have face the back at the same time and front at the same time. Wave at the audience and they all wave back. on earth?
backstage.
I wonder what it was. Looked like someone crawling on the floor with no clothes on. When girls first joined us, they were apt to scream in mock fear if anybody walked into the dressing room. But as they gather experience, it's like water off a duck's back.